Here it is. The news about the coronavirus. That's right. The news about the coronavirus.
So below average when it came to our month of June rainfall totals. And we're going to continue that way into July. The first 5 days of July will pretty much rain and storm free. And we'll also be heating things up. So looks like July starts off dry and hot. We're cranking up that heat and humidity. Not so bad for today, and also tomorrow you'll really notice it, I think, as we head into Friday, Saturday, and especially on Sunday. Keep in mind our average should be around 82, 83 degrees, and we're going to be at least 10 degrees above that heading into your 4th of July weekend holiday. Here's what it looks like outside right now. Pretty nice scene behind me. We've got some passing clouds out there coming off the lake across northeast Ohio, but we've been dry on radar. Nothing to speak of. Maybe a slight chance today, but most of us will be looking at partly sunny skies. Warm. We're at 86 this afternoon for Cleveland, 86 as well for Akron and Kenton. And again, pretty much going to be looking at clear skies continuing after dinner time tonight. So we'll fall down to about 85 by 6 p.m., 81 clocking in at 8 p.m., and then as that sun sets, we'll start to cool off a little more, dropping into lower 70s by 10 o'clock tonight. So clear skies tonight will drop down to 68 for your overnight low. So a muggy morning tomorrow, but nonetheless, temperatures quickly jump. We're at 78, close to 80 by noon, and continuing to soar into near 90 for your forecasted high on Thursday. And really the humidity becomes a little bit more than what you can notice into the afternoon. We're calling hazy, hot, and humid. That's going to be your 4th of July weekend forecast. Looks like we're at 90 by Friday, upper 80s on Saturday, and then reaching the low to mid 90s even on Sunday's forecast. So we'll talk more details on your 4th of July and what that 7-day looks like coming up in your next Weather on the Ones in less than 10 minutes.
Here it is. The news about the coronavirus. That's right. The news about the coronavirus.
And every CRV comes with Honda Sensing. Because you never know. Fun to drive wherever you go. The redesigned CRV. Best-selling CUV over the last decade. Get a great deal on the CRV. A KBB.com 2020 Best Buy Award winner. Visit your Honda dealer today.
This mother won't guilt trip you, doesn't expect you to call her back, won't stalk you on social, and doesn't compare you to your siblings. Too bad it's not your mother, but now it can be. The new Mother Cruncher chicken sandwich from Rally's. Crispy, crunchy, all-white meat with our signature squawk sauce and all the mother-loving fixings. Or the smoky, sweet bacon barbecue Mother Cruncher. Get a better mother. The new Mother Cruncher chicken sandwiches. Get Rally's delivered.
Every morning, the people of Ohio have the opportunity to wake up and start fresh.
We want to be a different kind of news channel, putting storytelling and news first.
Your morning news, weekday mornings on Spectrum News 1. People are getting back out there, and your Toyota dealers say, "Welcome back, America." This 4th of July weekend, Toyota is offering 0% financing on 10 different models. Get $1,000 customer cash on an all-new family-size Highlander, or lease one for just $299 a month. The adventurous new RAV4 is just $199 a month, or get the legendary 4Runner with $1,750 customer cash. Welcome back, America. Today, tomorrow, Toyota.
We're living in uncertain times, but you can shape the future of our country right now. There are 3 things you can do. First, complete the 2020 census. Your response is completely confidential, and it can be filled out online or by mail. Second, if you're eligible, become a U.S. citizen by starting the process online. And third, if you are a citizen, register to vote now and use your voice on Election Day. To learn more, go to adelanteunidos.com.
Federal
federal judge blocking a Trump administration rule that would limit asylum seekers from Central America. The lawsuit focuses on a rule prohibiting migrants from seeking asylum in the U.S. if they've lived in or traveled through third countries. That means preventing people traveling through Mexico from claiming asylum. The administration argued the rule was needed to hold back asylum claims at the border. The judge pointed to new coronavirus restrictions on the border that already largely restrict migrants from entering the U.S. President Trump threatening to veto an important spending bill if it involves dishonoring Confederate leaders. The annual defense authorization bill funds the Pentagon and the country's military operations. Senator Elizabeth Warren is proposing adding the removal of names of Confederate generals from all military bases within 3 years to that legislation. President Trump tweeting out his disapproval, saying he would veto the bill if those bases were to be renamed. The amendment does have some bipartisan support. Members of the Congressional Black Caucus reacting to this threat, saying they don't believe the president will veto that bill. Caucus members held a press conference today on several bills passed or proposed in the House dealing with police reform and expanding opportunities for people of color. Committee Chair Karen Bass says forcing the Pentagon to rename those bases will be in the bill and said she found it hard to believe the president would axe the bipartisan-supported $740 billion defense spending bill.
It'll be in the bill, calling for the renaming. It's curious to me that we would actually have military institutions named after traitors. And so the president has said that he's going to veto it, but we know that we never know what the president is going to do from 1 minute to the next. And so I would find it hard-pressed that he would actually veto that bill because he wants traitors to continue being on the name of our military institutions.
Teenagers picking up tools to make their neighborhoods a better place to live. The lessons they're learning that can help them later in life. Still ahead on Spectrum News 1.
A few more storms possible in southern Ohio as we go throughout this afternoon. Then a dry stretch of weather wrapping up the rest of the week and heading into a hot and humid 4th of July weekend forecast. I'll break that down coming up in your next Weather on the One.
It also gave me a better perspective on news. I spent a number of years in Cleveland and Cincinnati, and it's given me an opportunity to see every corner of the state. I want to empower our communities and redefine what a news channel can be.
Every morning, the people of Ohio have the opportunity to wake up and start fresh.
We want to be a different kind of news channel, putting storytelling and community first.
Well, it's really humbling to be invited to our neighbors' homes and help them plan their day.
Welcome to Your Morning News. I'm Sophia Constantine.
Let's take a look at your weather on the one. We've got a large band of precipitation.
Your morning news, weekday mornings on Spectrum News 1. Sunday mornings, take an in-depth look at your community. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, a half-hour show dedicated to the important issues, driven to bring decision makers together, and committed to elevating discussion and debate. Your community, your state, your show. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum News 1. Exclusively on Spectrum.
Maybe I'll run for president, maybe I won't, but I will tell you that I'm not going to go away.
I don't think Michigan can become the Michigan of old.
We're probably the first professional sports team in the world that was built by the fans.
We were the biggest ice cream shipper in the nation, setting the standard for American ice cream.
I get to live my dream. I mean, what could I ask for?
Conversations, Sunday and Tuesday night at 9 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
this Wednesday. It's another warm afternoon today. Not a bad one. We've seen some cloud cover to start off the morning, but we'll continue to clear out those skies even as we head toward dinner time tonight. You can see some of those clouds moving in across northeast Ohio, but they'll continue to sink southbound, and overall, we will continue to look at clearing skies as we go throughout the overnight hours. Right now, no clouds have the chance to produce any showers. Most of us are dry on radar this afternoon, and we'll continue to warm. We're back into the 80s, still under that east-northeast wind, so it is warm outside, but it's not as hot and humid as what will be really in the next day or so. So heads up there. Temperature-wise for today, 87 in the Cleveland Metro, 85 in Mansfield. Feeling pretty comfortable, though, along the lake today in the low 80s, 81 in Sandusky. So temperature-wise, we're in the mid-80s for most of northeast Ohio, staying mainly dry as well, and we'll continue to clear out those skies as we go for the rest of our evening hours. So throughout dinner time tonight, we're at 85 degrees at 6 p.m., 81 by 8 o'clock, and then we're down to the 70s until closer to sunset tonight. By 10 o'clock, we're at 73 degrees. We'll fall down to about 68 for your overnight low. And again, skies will continue to clear, and we'll be pretty suntastic for tomorrow. Still warm and muggy, 86 for your daytime high, but the heat cranks up. We're talking a stretch of 90-degree weather as we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hazy, hot, and humid for that 4th of July weekend forecast. So the good news is we're dry for any outdoor plans, but if you have any plans outside, plan ahead. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure to put on that sunscreen because we'll see plenty of sunshine as we head into, again, our holiday weekend. It looks like in the middle half of July, temperatures across the Ohio Valley and most of the Midwest will be above average. We'll continue to track that, but 90s in that 7-day forecast.
Neighborhoods throughout the city of Cleveland are getting a much-needed facelift. More than a dozen teens from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio are helping to rejuvenate the community. Our Rachel Monjovi has the story.
Beautifying a neighborhood sometimes starts with just a hammer. 16 teens from the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Ohio are rehabbing homes in underserved neighborhoods in Cleveland. It's part of the Building Great Futures initiative with Habitat for Humanity and Youth Opportunities Unlimited, a nonprofit workforce development organization.
Habitat has a plan to concentrate on certain neighborhoods, and what we found is when you focus on a street, and really renovate a number of houses on that street and maybe do a cleanup on the rest of the street, suddenly it becomes a much more vibrant neighborhood.
The program serves as a launching pad for teens interested in the construction industry. They're learning everything from plumbing to electrical, carpentry, and HVAC.
It's important for them to be able to start early so then they can start making decisions as far as what life is going to be like after high school, so they can start planning now.
17-year-old James King is following in his father's footsteps. He says this opportunity will prepare him for a future career as a tradesman.
My whole family do it. My dad, he do construction. He lay concrete. My granddad, he also lay concrete. I like to be hands-on. I like to stay active, touching stuff, breaking stuff.
The teens working on this Cleveland home are learning lifelong skills. Before they could start any work, they were all trained by construction experts, and they're now all OSHA certified.
First, it was pretty nasty working on it, especially the basement. It stinks so bad, but we got everything together. It's starting to come together pretty nicely. It's fun. It's a lot of hard work, though.
By the end of summer, 2 homes will be completely renovated and move-in ready for families in need. Meaningful work that will leave a lasting impact.
The impact and the work that they're doing has a larger impact on the community as a whole, and even affecting the lives of some people, and it's fulfilling for them as well.
For Spectrum News, I'm Rachel Monjovi.
The Urban League is the oldest civil rights and social justice organization in the city of Columbus. It's been serving African Americans for over 100 years now. Our organization is open to everyone. But really there was a need and a void in our city of a place where young professionals of color to really come together, gather with like-minded thoughts, and share experiences and opportunities with each other. We have folks that are educators, folks that are doctors and lawyers, to folks that work in corporate America, or bureaucrats like me that work in government. And really, it's about how do we prepare that next pipeline of folks that understands what social justice is and what it means, and how do we infuse that into our every aspect of our lives and every aspect of our culture. A lot of organizations today recognizing Juneteenth now as a holiday, right? And so I think that one of those ways is really allowing spaces for employees to learn from each other, to hear each other, and share each other's experiences, and allow a space for them to voice their concerns to their leadership and to their company, to really to demand those changes, but also to be a part of those changes. We're absolutely at a moment, but what I'm more excited about is that there's an opportunity for a movement. And so the difference between a moment and a movement is sacrifice. There are some folks that have to raise their voice at the workplace, and that's a sacrifice, because there may be repercussions. There may be a sacrifice of you writing a check or making a donation. But we push it to make sure that it's a movement of real change, not just in police reform, but in all of the aspects of our society. Systemic racism doesn't just stop at the police department. It's embedded in City Hall, it's embedded in our corporations, and in some cases embedded even in our own homes. We have to really work collectively to dismantle it in all aspects of our society.
It doesn't feel like a job to me. Journalism is my passion. I started out as an actress and singer, which isn't the typical way to get into broadcasting. Whether it's journalism, singing, acting, writing, it's all about storytelling. I guess I fell in love with news because it's the real story of us. It's the real story of community. I'm Mary Lee Melendez, anchor reporter, Spectrum News 1.
Weather in Ohio is changing all the time.
We get winter one day and 60s the next. At Spectrum News 1, our goal is refreshingly simple.
We bring you an accurate, reliable, and local forecast every 10 minutes.
We have an incredible, experienced team of people. We don't just know about the weather, we know about Ohio.
You never have to wait for your forecast with your Weather on the Ones.
Weather on the Ones, every 10 minutes, exclusively on Spectrum. Sunday mornings, take an in-depth look at your community. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, a half-hour show dedicated to the important issues, driven to bring decision makers together, and committed to elevating discussion and debate. Your community, your state, your show. In Focus with Mike Kallmeyer, Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Maybe I'll run for president, maybe I won't, but I will tell you that I'm not going to go away.
And I don't think Michigan can become the Michigan of old.
We're probably the first professional sports team in the world that was built by the fans.
We're the biggest ice cream shipper in the nation, setting the standard for American ice cream.
I get to live my dream. I mean, what can I ask for?
Conversations, Sunday and Tuesday night at 9 on Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Welcome back to Spectrum News 1. I'm Mary Lee Melendez. The Christopher Columbus statue outside Columbus City Hall is now gone. Crews spent a few hours this morning taking it down. City leaders passed the motion to remove the statue last month. This is the second Columbus statue to be taken down in the city. The other was removed last month from the campus of Columbus State Community College. And we'll have much more coverage on the efforts for social change across our state in just a moment. But first, let's go ahead and get a quick check of your Weather on the Ones forecast.
Partly to mostly cloudy skies across the Ohio Valley for today. Still the chance for an isolated shower or storm again, a spotty shower or storm. Here's how we break down those chances for today. So about a 30% chance in Cincinnati and just about a 20% chance for Dayton. Elsewhere, we are hot and humid, or at least warming up, and this will be the trend, a very hot one heading into the second half of our week, and especially for that 4th of July weekend forecast. So overnight tonight, skies will clear. We're down into the mid to upper 60s for your overnight lows, and then here comes the stretch of 90s. Yeah, temperatures tomorrow afternoon, most of us reaching low 90s, and that'll be continuing into that 4th of July weekend forecast. We'll break down coming up. Well, good Wednesday to you. I'm meteorologist Robin King. Here's your latest weather on the One's updated forecast. Now, before we welcome you into July and how we start off the new month, let's talk about some rainfall totals below average for past June. So take a look at Cleveland, picking up on 2.36 inches in the month of June. Usually we're around, for as far as averages go, for rainfall, 3.48, so below average when it came to our month of June rainfall totals, and we're going to continue that way into July. The first 5 days of July will pretty much rain and storm free, and we'll also be heating things up. So looks like July starts off both dry and hot. We're cranking up that heat and humidity. Not so bad for today, and also tomorrow you'll really notice it, I think, as we head into Friday, Saturday, and especially on Sunday. Keep in mind our average should be around 82, 83 degrees, and we're going to be at least 10 degrees above that heading into your 4th of July weekend holiday. Here's what it looks like outside right now. Pretty nice scene behind me. We've got some passing clouds out there coming off the lake across northeast Ohio, but we've been dry on radar. Nothing to really speak of. Maybe a slight chance today, but most of us will be looking at partly sunny skies. Warm, we're at 86 this afternoon for Cleveland, 86 as well for Akron and Canton. And again, pretty much going to be looking at clear skies continuing after dinner time tonight. So we'll fall down to about 85 by 6 p.m., 81 clocking in at 8 p.m., and then as that sun sets, we'll start to cool off a little more, dropping into lower 70s by 10 o'clock tonight. So clear skies tonight will drop down to 68 for your overnight low. So a muggy morning tomorrow, but nonetheless, temperatures quickly jump. We're at 78, close to 80 by noon, and continuing to soar into near 90 for your forecasted high on Thursday. And really the humidity becomes a little bit more of what you can notice into the afternoon, where we're calling hazy, hot, and humid. That's going to be your 4th of July weekend forecast. Looks like we're at 90 by Friday, upper 80s on Saturday, and then reaching the low to mid 90s even on Sunday's forecast. So we'll talk more details on your 4th of July and what that 7-day looks like coming up in your next Weather on the Ones in less than 10 minutes.
Other troubling trends. Our Taylor Bruck takes a look at the data in Summit County.
Asian residents make up just under 4% of the Summit County population, but account for nearly 20% of coronavirus cases. That's nearly 1 in 5 people. This data from the Summit County Public Health Department reports that as of Tuesday, June 30th, of the over 1,900 confirmed and probable cases in the county, 53% are white residents, 24% are black residents, and 19% are Asian residents, with 4% identified as other. The North Hill neighborhood of Akron, which is located in the 44310 zip code and has a large immigrant population, has the highest number of coronavirus cases in Summit County.
What we have are a group of individuals who live typically in multi-generational homes that work in frontline jobs where they're either in manufacturing, some sort of line work, and then they also get to work. Typically their transportation to work is congregate as well.
Summit County Public Health Commissioner Donna Skota says the Asian residents who live in that area often have jobs that don't have paid sick leave, which becomes a job security issue if they don't show up for work. She says this is also true for other minorities living in impoverished areas.
Anytime you have any sort of disparity, you have to look for underlying causes, and it's racism. Most of the disenfranchised live in segregated areas, and that's just because of policies and building practices and how we've built neighborhoods and lack of sidewalks
We've put freeways through neighborhoods. We've built cul-de-sacs so you can't walk anymore on grid pattern streets. I mean, we've done all sorts of those things in building, and there is impact from those health infrastructure policies that have segregated. And poor people tend to live together in neighborhoods. You know, we've abandoned a lot of our inner city neighborhoods.
Elaine So is the CEO of Asian Services in Action, which seeks to improve the quality of life for Asians in Northeast Ohio. She says the organization provides a range of services to Asian residents, including health and translation services. They, along with the Summit County Health Department, are working to provide necessary information and develop community testing sites.
We are in ongoing education and outreach programming with the community members. Many of our staff are from the communities that we're serving, and they are reaching out to their communities and sharing the information about the best practices to prevent infection during this time of COVID.
At the same time, the health department is noticing another alarming overall trend. Summit County's COVID-19 death rate is twice Ohio's average. SCOTA attributes it to the high number of nursing homes and assisted living facilities in the county.
We've had a lot of deaths associated with long-term care. And so when you have that, you have an elderly group of population. Some of those folks had directives in place so that when they became ill, they did not want any sort of help or any sort of assistance or medical treatment. But also the disease was far more difficult to recover from if you were elderly. And, you know, you had a lot of complicating conditions.
Summit County's coronavirus death rate is at 10.49%, considerably higher than the state's rate of just over 5.5%. SCOTA says she thinks the number is skewed since most serious individuals are being tested and subsequently dying.
I think as we see more folks, as we get more testing and more, the denominator gets bigger, we'll see our death rate come down. We're doing some community testing. We're looking at some additional. So yeah, I think it's getting much better.
For Spectrum News, I'm Taylor Ruck.
Experts say there is little evidence that recent protests caused an increase in coronavirus cases. Public health experts say the jumps would have started to become apparent within 2 weeks, even as early